Am I really gonna start at part 6 of a 9-part series? Yes, I am. This ain't your mama's bizarre adventure, because this is JoJo's bizarre adventure, Stone Ocean. We join Jolene Cujo, a woman arrested for a crime she didn't commit, imprisoned in the worst hellscape imaginable, Florida. To break out of prison, save herself, the world, and her dad, Jolene must assemble a motley crew of weirdos, just like the Wizard of Oz or Star Wars. And everything I just said there is technically correct and entirely false all at the same time, as JoJo is one of the strangest anime and manga series ever committed to pen and paper. And to this effect, we're going to take a look at one of Jolene's strangest RPG companions, and probably one of the strangest characters in the entire series, Foo Fighters. The work of mangaka Hirohiko Araki is very eye-catching and flamboyant, and Foo Fighters is actually one of his more subdued characters. This is a super action statue from Medicos, and I think they do a really good job of sculpting in a lot of the interesting design and detail work Araki uses. Foo Fighters is essentially wearing overalls with the green Dolphin Street prison logo on her back, with the most interesting things being the little triangle clasps and her really weird bob cut. Despite her simplicity, they do a great job of paying attention to all these little details through paint, sculpt, and deco, and that includes her little prisoner number bracelet, which is so small the camera can't focus on it. And in addition to that, apparently Green Dolphin Street has an unlimited prison budget, because they also issue these bracelets which are bombs. It's kind of like the Suicide Squad, they're there to keep the prisoners under control. In addition to her stoic face, she also includes 2 extra portrait sculpts. One of which being this yelling face, because it's a shonen battle anime. You get stronger by yelling, it's a fact. She also includes a fair few expressive alternate hands, like this one with the forefinger and ring finger curled like a lazy Spider-Man, and a pointing finger, because you gotta point at your enemies. She also includes a pair of splayed open hands, as well as 1 extra big gripping hand, kind of like a King Diamond hand. But it's a little less theatrical than that, it's actually meant to hold this big gulp here.
7-Eleven's Big Gulp.
It's a bit exaggerated and cartoony, but I like it a lot. And it's also extra weird because it's 3 separate pieces. You get the cup itself, as well as the water that goes inside, and the straw. It's overmade and overdone, but also I like it, so I don't know if it matters. The last few accessories all deal with the fact that Foo Fighters is a little more than meets the eye. She's not human. Amongst the group, she's the pretender. You get 1 very mechanical hand with 2 regular digits and an alternate head where there's some mechanical components crawling their way out of her eye. Foo Fighters can also make a finger gun, but you can see it's a lot more literal as there's a hammer and barrel coming out of her forefinger. The painting and sculpting work really go a long way to adding the mechanical details to the biological and making them blend together. And this all comes to her last major accessory, Foo Fighters. See, Foo Fighters is not human by any means, and she's actually made up of these little guys. These are very strange little figures, and they kind of look like almost Dr. Seuss tadpoles. They're very well sculpted and very freaky too, with their big bulging eyes and little teeth that come out. So as a JoJo fan, I can say that part 6 is genuinely my least favorite part. It has its merits, it has great moments and great characters, but it's just a little too bogged down in deep lore, details, and esoteric concepts. The best way I can kind of conceptualize this is imagine if every single scene in The Phantom Menace was the midichlorian scene. Every character introduction, every fight, every setting change came with a long-winded explanation before and after. I think it's all this baggage that led to Hirohiko Araki rebooting the franchise after Stone Ocean's conclusion, and reimagining JoJo's Bizarre Adventure as a Western drama in Part 7, Stillball Run.
Far out. So there's an infinite number of parallel universes? No, just the 2.
So by the time we hit Part 6 Stone Ocean, the deep lore of JoJo is pretty impenetrable, so just buckle up and go along with me. At Green Dolphin Street Federal Penitentiary, 2 inmates have escaped the prison grounds. In an effort to find them, or at least find their bodies, the warden, as well as some of the officers, have gathered up a group of prisoners to go search the surrounding swamps. Our intrepid heroes, Jolene and Hermes, take this opportunity to volunteer and investigate the prison grounds in search for the disc, all capitals D-I-S-C. This compact disc contains Jotaro, Jolene's dad's, memories and his stand. Stands being a manifestation, essentially, of superpowers in this universe. All 6 of the inmates are given special bracelets that have bombs placed inside of them. These bombs will detonate if they wander too far from the prison supervisor or wander off prison property. However, as they're investigating the swamp, the prison supervisor is murdered and his body dragged under the murky depths. This causes one of the prisoners, a weird mousy girl named Eitro's, bracelet to go off, killing her instantly. Now, Jolene and Hermes already know that there's an enemy stand nearby and they gotta keep their guard up.
It's an enemy stand!
The other prisoners don't matter. We're done talking about them now. What matters is the fact that Jolene and Hermes have indeed stumbled upon the cache where our main villain keeps the stand discs. And guarding these discs is a mechanical monstrosity known as Foo Fighters. See, this is Foo Fighters' true form. She's a colony of plankton that achieved sentience due to a random stand disc falling into the boggy swamp. Foo Fighters essentially begins life as a guard dog. She is defending the cache of stand discs on command of our main antagonist, and attacks virtually anyone indiscriminately. It's during the fight with Jolene that she starts showing some agency of her own and a desire to make something out of nothing, that there has to be something beyond her life as a guard dog. And Jolene decides that this very strange creature deserves a second chance. With this second chance, Foo Fighters decides she needs to help Jolene on her quest, and to do so, she needs a human body. So she grabs that poor dead girl Eitro from earlier and possesses that body. I told you this was pretty weird. This is where we get the main dynamic of Foo Fighters. Foo Fighters is a stranger in a strange world. It's very much the Pinocchio, Data from Star Trek The Next Generation idea where she's trying to become human. She wants to learn, experience, she wants to grow as an individual.
When I stroke the beard thusly, do I not appear more intellectual?
I'm sorry, I have to go now. Goodbye.
And the issue is because all of this is new to her, she's a total weirdo to just about everybody. She's funny, she's weird, she's goofy, and she's an overall goober, and that's kind of why she's endearing.
ジョリーン、豚肉の逆は何？チキンとかビーフとか？豚の逆は鮭だぜ。豚はゴロゴロした生活だが、鮭は流れに逆らって川を登る。気に入った。
Foo Fighters brings a much-needed sense of levity to the crew. Jolene, Hermes, Anasui, and all her pals are on the long road to ruin. Meanwhile, Foo Fighters is just learning how to fly. The name Foo Fighters comes from a very esoteric source. It was first used in World War II by the British Royal Air Force to describe a colony of strange lights in the sky. Now, sometimes these strange lights were enemy ballistics, enemy planes, or sometimes completely unidentified and counted as UFOs. Either way, they would overwhelm the Air Force and cause them to veer off course and readjust. And this kind of fits Foo Fighters in the story. She's a colony of plankton that essentially overwhelmed Jolene and Hermes, and it takes some quick thinking to get out of that situation. And kind of like how the term Foo Fighters is associated with UFOs and high strangeness, once she joins the team, she's a total weirdo. She's an absolute darling, but just a strange bird nonetheless. Look, Hirohiko Araki is undeniably a strange man. He loves his horror movies, he loves his music, he loves all kinds of craziness, and just blends it all together into a manga. Most of Araki's heroes are pretty straight-laced and straightforward, with an idiosyncrasy here or there. Foo Fighters, however, she's all idiosyncrasy. Foo Fighters really is the wild card thrown into Jolene's crew. Not because she started out as a bad guy, but because she's so funny and odd. It doesn't take too long in this bizarre adventure to realize stranger things have happened. But Foo Fighters is so earnestly strange and earnestly odd, it earns her a place as a fan favorite.